Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of June 28th through July 4th. And during that time, we have a full moon that comes in on the 30th. And of course, you might feel that a couple days before, during, and after, but it's a time of heightened emotions. You might feel a little bit anxious or irritable. Sometimes you have changes in your sleeping patterns. But it's a good time for us to release any resentment or fear and also to practice patience and calm. After that, we then have the waning gibbous energy for the rest of the week. And that's a good time of self reflection and rebirth, good time to make positive changes and work toward achieving our goals and our aspirations. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Scorpio. So, as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't here on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is that your dreams need a practical plan. And I feel like that was also Virgo's overall this week. If I'm right, I have the worst memory when it comes to readings. So I do this in person too. When I read someone's cards, it's like they get up from the table. I have no idea. It's almost like I step aside and I'm reading the card. I don't remember it. It's very, very funny and interesting to me. But anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, my weekly reminder for the week, that's what I was going to say, is to open your mind to synchronicities this week, Scorpio. And this could be really anything, but we're trying to pay attention to the universe and see what signs and signals and things are out there for us. I experienced a few today. I'm trying to keep myself more aware of it as well. But if you have synchronicities that are happening pretty often in your life, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, try to keep yourself open to that because you will start to see messages. You'll hear things, you'll see things. So, and it's just everywhere. It's wherever you look. And if you're paying attention, you're like, it's almost like there's another language going on. And once you're aware of it, you can't not see it. So, all right, let's get into this reading. Scorpio, June 28th through July 4th. Your dreams need a practical plan. Your present energy right now is the Empress. So, here you are at she's the most creative, beautiful. This is someone who creates a happy home, children, beautiful things around her. So if that's something that you're dreaming of, then here's the Empress to help you with that. It's just, I keep a little note. I have little notes that I put all around the house for me to see, just to remind me. And she reminds me. I actually have a little thing of hers on a window, but she reminds me to make everything beautiful. So so sometimes we're rushing along life and we're just trying to get it done. And I try to stop and take in this Empress energy. And I do try to make things beautiful, whether it's for my family, and it could be a meal that I cook or a little part of our home, or just something just to make everything beautiful. There's just no better way to live. But that's the energy that you're sitting in. And if you're trying to do that, if you're in a place right now, Scorpio, where you're trying to make everything beautiful, you've got the Empress there, which is that creativity. And many times she's about long term. So it is about your home, it's about your children, it's about the thoughts that you are putting into what are you creating when it comes to these children that you have, or the home that you're putting your energy into. So, or the job. I mean, it could be all the different things, the different ways in our life that we enter into things long term, and we want to do just a great job at it. All right, your current situation is the Six of Wands here. So not only are you in this Empress energy of just full like flow and creativity, maybe you've got a garden going, but you're also getting some accolades from people around you. This is the people that are complimenting those things that you do. So they're complimenting your children, and that feels really good, or your home or your garden or whatever it is, your job, maybe there's a raise. And this is just kind of the admiration of other people. And that's the energy that you're going into the week with, which is great, that you're kind of feeling that sense of appreciation, which that's really great. At the root of your situation this week is the Three of Cups. So a little bit of celebration, which could be about either of these things. Maybe you've purchased a home and you're making it beautiful, and maybe you've gotten a raise at work, and so you're celebrating with friends, and that's the root of this, which is great too, that you've got people around you to to come together and not only say, hey, great job, but celebrate things, celebrate those little victories in your life with you, which is awesome. In your recent past, look at you, hard at work, Eight of Pentacles. So yeah, it's almost like something is paying off here for you. Something is paying off, and it says your dreams need a practical plan. So maybe you are kind of a dreamer. And I was talking about this in a reading that I did earlier, that sometimes when you are a dreamer, that practicality, it's almost like you need that other person. And I know my husband and I are like this. I'm very much the dreamer and, like, dream big and do this stuff. He's the one that brings me kind of back down to earth a little bit and is a little bit more practical and knows how to maybe make things happen. And so, I feel like when you're paired up that way, either in your relationship or friendships or even at work, where you have someone who's just super creative and come up with all these ideas, and then you have the person that's like the realist. So sometimes you need that. And if you've been hard at work on something, you may just have trouble trying to put it all together, and you may need that realist, right? You may be kind of in that dreamy mode, which is great. It's a great place to live. But sometimes we just do need a little bit, like a little air let out of our balloon, to get pulled back down to earth, to say, okay, here's practically how that might work. What is on your mind this week is the Hermit card. So you're definitely going within and thinking about something when it comes to this plan, and that's good. The Hermit, and it might just be that you're looking for the next step, which is what the Hermit card is. He's not, this light is not showing the mile ahead of him, right? It's showing where the next step or two is going to go. So if it's about coming up with a practical plan, it is just about those next couple of steps. You don't have to be able, the Empress is doing things that are going to last way down the road, and she kind of has that foresight. But the Hermit is like, okay, where do I start? Which foot do I put forward first? But let me go in. That inner wisdom is within you. Like Dorothy said, there's no place like home. Everything you needed to know, it's all right there inside of you, right? And that's true for all of us. So, that inner searching, the next step. You just maybe need to quiet your mind and maybe let your intuition guide you a little bit on what that next step is. What is just ahead of you this week is the Five of Pentacles here, which I've seen this card several times in the readings, and also in this position, I think a couple of times for this week. This is kind of our comparison card, feeling like an outsider. And I think when we do that, it's because we're comparing ourselves to others, or, maybe something you did happen that kind of made you feel like on the outside. But I feel like this is the comparison is the thief of joy card. So don't compare yourself to others. Don't make your next step about what others would do. Make your next step the thing that you want to do. Make sure that you're living very intentionally and that you are taking those steps because it's something that you want, not something that society wants or your parents or just the people around you. It's something that you want to do. That's how we create our individual and unique worlds. So don't compare yourself to others, is what I'm going to say about that card. In your advice position here is the Emperor, who I've also seen. The advice is to build, to I want to say, if you build it, what was it from? If you build it, they will come. If you build it, he will come. I think what that's kind of a Mandela thing, Field of Dreams. But this is the builder. This is our most stable builder. I just had another reading too. Who was it that had both of those cards? Maybe Libra. If you have a Libra in your life, or a Taurus, I feel like there's some of these cards were in Taurus's reading too. If you're a cross watcher, you may want to check those out. Anyway, the advice is to build it, to do it. You know what the next step is. We're going to go in and get that wisdom from the Hermit. But you're in this creative flow, you're in this energy. And here, like I said, here's that practicality that we all kind of need when we're in dream mode. This is your reality. Um, this is someone that has a clear vision, someone who can build something, who knows how to play by the rules, does things in a very systematic way. So you need to get to that part of yourself as well. And you may need help with that. Like I said, some of us need other people to help us do that. I certainly do. I always have. I can dream big, and I just need someone to help me put things into order sometimes. So if that's you, get that kind of help. Find that person and help them, or have them help you put this thing into fruition with that next step that you want to make. All right, what is beyond your control this week is that you're done with something. 10 of Swords. You're done with something. You might be done with a way of thinking. You might be done with all of this hard work, or you might just be opening up a can for more hard work. But a 10 is an ending of some sorts, typically because it's air energy. It's the end of a way of thinking, or it can also be an end of a way of communicating. Something that you are definitely, and that's beyond your control. You're wrapping something up. And I think that's always to make space for the next thing that is coming down the pike for you. What is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid? Is the star card. So is it okay? The star card is about literally following the stars. It's about guidance and direction. It's about being on course. So is it your secret desire to kind of look around, like I was talking about those synchronicities, to look around the world, to find that next answer, to be guided in that way, to be guided by your intuition, with your hermit card there? Is that your secret desire? And or are you trying to avoid that? And there's no right or wrong. You can fall in either flip of that coin. The issue here is just understanding that answer for yourself. Understanding, am I going to follow like what's written in the stars, which is literally what this card is about, or am I going to push back against that? And again, the answer is yours to make. Just understand why. In your outcome position, Scorpio is the King of Swords. So you end up at the end of this with just being very logical. I feel like you take the next step that is logical, and whatever that is. Is that where the Hermit leads you? Maybe. Is that where this Emperor leads you? Probably. That's maybe the Empress is probably not about logic. She's making things beautiful over here, but this is your logic. This is your practicality. And you do need to lay out a practical plan. Again, if you need to seek the advice of someone else to help you do that, then go ahead and do that. That's okay to do that. I know Scorpios, you guys don't really like to share when you have projects or things going on. And I don't know, this could be a personal project. It could be but if you need to seek that kind of advice and counsel, and I don't even mean, it could be a person that you're talking to, but it could be a book that you pick up and read. If I always say, if there's something we want to do, someone else out there has probably already done it, or something very close to it. So maybe you want to seek that kind of advice out there. All right, what is hidden from you here at the bottom of the deck, Scorpio, is the Page of Pentacles, which is about a new path in the material world or the financial world, which it doesn't look like that's hidden from you. So this is all things that I feel like are in action, something you've already been working towards. And you may just be mid-cycle. These tarot readings are a week long, but of course life doesn't happen in a week. And some things that are going on in your life are things that you've been building for years, or at least months, or weeks, something you've been adding and doing, and the momentum's kind of building. And I feel like you're kind of in the middle of this, whatever it is. But I just feel like you're going to do the most logical thing. Get practical with it, to make it happen. Maybe this is just kind of the kick in the butt that you need, that hey, this dream can come true. You just got to do it. You just got to do the steps that make it happen. All right, let's get you a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message for Scorpio this week, and the card for you is to reflect on your truth. Okay, that's something that we all need to do, but it's definitely, if you need a practical plan, it is about what are those things that are true. You know what they are. You know what they are, and those are kind of like, what are your limitations, and what are the false limitations as well, because many times limitations are just, you got to think around it and be a little bit more creative. All right, what do you need to do in the way of self-care for Scorpio this week? Self-care for Scorpio, and you get the card called Patience. It is safe to wait. Okay, take your time. It's safe to wait. No big rush. Your dreams need a practical plan, but I feel like again, these tarot readings are for a week, but life goes on and on. It might just be where your mindset is right now, is you want to go within and take your time. Do that hermiting to really think about the decisions, think about how you want to move forward and what your next step might be. So Scorpio, thank you so much for being here. I hope there's something in this reading that you can take away and use in a positive way in your life this week. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment down below and let me know, did anything resonate with you? Or if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer those. Also, if you like my reading style, hitting like and subscribe is oh so helpful to me. So thank you in advance for doing that. Also, it helps you find me. So come on back next week and let's see where this story goes. See you next time. Bye-bye.